Okay, today I'd like to show you, before you do your homework problems, I'd like to show you how to calculate mean, median, and mode using a Google Sheets. You could also, if you had Microsoft Office, this is also known as Excel on that database. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is pull up your directions from yesterday's class, and I want you to bring up the data for example 4. So when you click on that and you open it, what you'll notice is it's view only, which means you cannot manipulate this. So what I would like you to do is go to File, make a copy. We are going to delete the copy of part and then add your name to the back. It saves it into your drive, and then for me it automatically opens it up on my computer. It probably does the same for you. Otherwise, go in your drive and find student data, for example, 4 with your name. Okay, this now you can manipulate. So we have 4 sets of data here. What I'm going to do is, and this is really nice on a spreadsheet because the data is already entered in there. So what I'm going to do is, for how many letters are in your first name, I'm going to go to the cell that's right underneath the last data set, or the last data point, and I'm going to type in equals. So the equal sign tells Google Sheets that you want it to calculate something. So what we're going to calculate is the mean. And for Sheets, it doesn't register as mean. It registers if you type average. So if I write average, then I'm going to open the parentheses and realize whatever I'm typing here is also in the bar up here. So you're going to type average, open parentheses, and then I have to tell it which cells I want it to find the average of. And I want to start at cell B2 and go all the way down to B16. And when I let go, I'm going to close the parentheses and press enter. And that's the average number. Now that's a lot of decimals. I don't need that many. So if you go up here, you can tell it, hey, you can shorten that number. All right, next, let's do equals. So we found the mean. Let's find the median. So if I write median, open parentheses, and I want it to go from cell B2 all the way down to B16. Let go, close it with the other parentheses, and press enter. So that's your mean, median, and then last, if you press equal and then type in mode, open parentheses, go from cell B2 to B16, close your parentheses, press enter. There you go. You have your mean, your median, and mode. And if you want, you can type mean, median, and mode so you know what's what for each one of these. I am going to skip over the second data set for the time being, just because it's not numerical data. So when you get to the third and fourth set, you could do exactly what we just did and type equals, average, open parentheses, tell it which cells. Or, since we're going to have the same thing again and again, we can highlight these 3 cells with the mean, median, and mode formulas in them. Right click or 2 clicks, 2 fingers, and then I want to copy. Now when I come over here, I will 2-finger click it and go paste special. You don't want to just paste, because if you just paste, you're going to get the wrong information. But if you paste formulas only, the computer is smart and it takes the formulas you have in these cells, puts them in these cells, but it applies it to column D information. So if you were to click on this, you'll see it took the average from cell D2 to D16. And if you double click on it, it highlights which cells it took the average of, which is nice to see. This one, it's highlighted, so it's taking the median of D2 to D16. And again, if you click on it, it highlights the cells it's taking the median of. Okay, another way to transfer these formulas without having to type them out again, if you highlight, and I specifically did it that way, where I copy and pasted it, because there was a column in the middle that we don't want it to use those formulas for. But these two columns are right next to each other. So if I highlight these three, I can just have it so that it's on top of, I want my cursor on top of this box on the bottom right, and I'm going to click on it and slide it over. And then the computer says, okay, she wants to apply these formulas using the information in column E. So if I click on it, it took the average from E2 to E16. So that's super quick to get your mean, median, and mode without having to type all the numbers into a calculator or, either typing them in on a piece of paper, adding them up and whatever, or typing them into the calculator, either way. Now for your words here, since they're categories, it's a little bit different. We are going to say equals. We're going to press the equals, but we're going to use this count if. So the computer, I love that Sheets gives you kind of like a cheat sheet here, this right here. I'm going to click on this. And what I want you to understand is it needs to be specific to exactly how this is written. So personally for dataset 2, I don't know if Spreadsheets is the easiest way to do this, but it's pretty easy when it automatically fills it in too. So we have equals count if, and then we highlighted cells C2 to the C16. Then there's a comma, a quotation mark, and then equals, it's got to say exactly triangle, and then close the quotation mark and close the parentheses. When you press enter, it's telling you that there are going to be 7 triangles. So let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Now, again, if you type it out, it'd be equals, count if, open parentheses, and then you're going to highlight your cells. There was a comma after, no spaces. So quotation mark and then equals, we can say quadrilateral, close the quotation mark, close the parentheses. Again, there are 0 quadrilaterals. If you didn't want to have to keep typing it again and again, you can always highlight, grab that bottom right corner, go down. But you do need to be really careful because what's happening is they change the numbers. So if I click on this cell, I really just still want the data set from C2 to C16. So I need to manipulate that part. And then I also don't want a triangle. Let's do a pentagon. Make sure your parentheses are in there. So then I get 4 pentagons. And if I want to take this data to C2 to C16, make sure it says that. I don't want quadrilateral. We've done pentagon. Let's do hexagon. Okay. So for these, if you look at your data set, you want to be smart too. There's no heptagon or octagon or nonagon, but there is a decagon. So if you wanted to, you can always copy, paste. Oops. If we do copy, paste your formula, and then we don't want hexagon, and again, make sure it's C2 to C16. We're going to do decagon. And there's 1. So you can just play with it and manipulate it, but you'll see that triangle has the most count. So your mode would be triangle. Now for your homework in the book, 6.2, I would really love it if you could do it on a electronic sheet so that I can see your answers pretty clearly. And then if you're using a spreadsheet or if you're using the online calculator, you can always show me your work by doing screenshots if you would like. And that concludes just this quick tutorial on how to use a spreadsheet.